Okay, so I was thinking the other night and I just started writing in my journal. So I'm going to share with you guys what I wrote. Okay, treat your mind like it's a movie you're watching at a movie theater. You are only the observer of what's being displayed in front of you, meaning you are the observer of your own thoughts. Because you are not your thoughts. Just like in the movie theater, you are not in the movie. You are only the observer of the movie. But when you get so caught up in the movie that you're watching and absorbed to whatever is going on, that's having your emotions all over the place. You're mad, you're sad, you're angry, you're yelling at the screen. You are letting the movie have control over you. You're letting your emotions have control over you. And you forget that you are not in the movie. You're only the observer of the movie. So it's the same thing with your mind. You are not your thoughts. You are only the observer of your thoughts. So you don't have to validate or react to every thought that comes up in your mind or attach your feelings to every thought you have. If you do, you are only giving it more power, because where attention goes, energy flows. And I'm essentially talking about negative thought habits or pattern. So the simplest way to get rid of those negative thoughts is to simply ignore it. You can just choose to let it go. You don't have to react to it. The more you do, the more energy you're giving that thought. So then the more it has power over you. And I know it's easier said than done, but the only way is to train your mind to think that way. And the more you practice it, the easier it gets. Because eventually it becomes a new pattern. Because the only way to get rid of a bad pattern, bad habit, is to create a new one, which would essentially be a new, healthier pattern. And I know it takes a lot of practice, which I'm still learning. Okay, but now let's, rewind back to where those negative thought patterns and habits rooted from. From the day we were born, we have been all psychologically been programmed, which is due to so many factors, which are influenced by our early life experiences, some that are passed down to generations, our beliefs, the beliefs that we grew up with, the environment that we grew up with. All that has been stored in our subconscious mind. And the reason why some of us aren't aware of it is because the subconscious mind has no awareness at all. The subconscious mind operates below the level of conscious awareness, meaning it doesn't process or isn't processing the information out of awareness. The subconscious mind actively processes information out of awareness. So, for example, let's say you've been driving for 3 to 4 years, basically driving for a very long time. You don't have to think about driving. You don't have to think about, okay, how do I start? I put my foot on the brake, I put the thing on drive, I look back, I turn around. Like, no, your brain already subconsciously knows what to do. Because, like I said, you've been doing it for a long time, so it becomes a habit. So, back to what I was saying on how all of your programming is stored in the subconscious mind, which acts and are heavily influenced by our past experiences that we may have forgotten, by our beliefs, etc., that we are actively not aware of. The subconscious mind holds all the memories and beliefs that the conscious mind isn't actively aware of. The subconscious mind generally is considered to be more of a reactive system. It responds based on stored memories, emotions, learned patterns without a conscious thought. Okay, another example. Let's say your whole life since childhood, you've been told and made to feel like you aren't good enough. So you believed it, and that stayed with you until you were an adult. Okay, so let's say you haven't healed from that as an adult, and there's a situation where someone said or did something that made you feel or triggered you into the emotion of feeling that you aren't good enough. Your job is to consciously be aware of what you're feeling in that exact moment. First, identifying the emotion and asking yourself why you're feeling the way that you are. And eventually, it'll lead back to your childhood. Because like I said, your whole life you've been told and made to feel like you're good enough until you believe it. So that's your subconscious mind responding. And of course, all this depends on your level of consciousness, because not everyone is that self-aware. And if you are that self-aware enough to be like, oh, this has actually been happening to me since I was a child due to this and that, and it made me feel like I wasn't good enough. The way to heal from that is to create a new narrative, and you do that by affirming yourself each time you feel that emotion of you basically not being good enough. You affirm yourself by saying, I'm going to use me as an example, like, Lisa, you are good enough, you're worthy, you matter, you're loved, da 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 da. Again and again and again for as long as you have to. Because like I said earlier, the only way to get rid of those negative thought habits is to create a new pattern. So, if you don't heal from that, not only would it affect your future friendships, relationships, and your life overall, because it would keep you limited in this little box that you wouldn't open yourself to actually experiencing certain things in life just because you believe that you're not worthy of it or worthy of certain things, which will actually rob you off of actually experiencing good things, great things in life. And that is just the definition of self-sabotage. So back to the example that I used, the first example that I used of you driving to 3 to 4 years, that has already been stored in your subconscious mind compared to the programming that's been stored in your subconscious mind from the very first day you were born or your childhood. Like, it's gonna take a long time. For me, it's 22 years, more so 20 years, I would say. But so it's gonna take time to reprogram your subconscious mind and those negative thought habits and patterns, because healing does take time, and healing is not linear. Like, there are gonna be so much times where you think you're good and then you fall and then you go up and you fall again. Like, that's part of healing. That's the healing process. Like, it's not gonna be straight up boom, you're done. Like, nah. I feel like it's a lifetime, you know, but at the same time you can still experience good things in life. You can still have fun and enjoy life as you heal. And one thing I also want to say, to not make healing like your whole personality, because it's never that, you know. But, you know, just try to have fun in the process. Yeah. And also taking time to appreciate your growth and how far you came is also like something that's really important. And also one more thing, pain is part of the process. It's not the end. Okay.